Winter dark, midnight, shimmering fog dancing in streetlights' glow, silence. Even the wind is stilled, mystery hovering in the air. Something is coming. Glad of its warmth and seeming security, I go to my bed. What am I feeling? Not fear, nor anticipation, no sense of the ominous, but simply waiting. Something is coming.
Okay, so this is called Fortune Cookie. I'm in the dark, twisting my hair. This is the only place I'm safe. My autistic device and I have a meltdown on the phone with people. I'm rejected. That's hurled into traffic affairs. I'm feeling more hopeless as I continue dealing with this. My thoughts permitting me into obsessional awareness. My trigger comes, the trigger comes, the trigger goes. I'm exhausted. Ultimately, I'm terrified. Terrified of promise, terrified of reason, terrified of them. I don't like how the past becomes the past so quickly. Scared nobody's gonna believe you. You obsess about the evidence, even keychains you don't have, to dispel the notion that my personality is imagining. Somebody, somebody please give me pleasure so I can scream this pain and not be always taught to be ashamed. I can say these people's names. Supposedly they're just journal entries. Throw me down, jump on me, the pain out of me. 10 seconds of that release. Dom used to say, I'm free in those. The kite, the air balloon, the darkness enthralls my thoughts. The fan blowing them around in the room, not devouring the contents like a mirage on the ceiling with full stargazing into effect. It's not that kind. It wants you to believe it though. The antidote, where is it? I'm not the Hulk or Joker. I relate to the Hulk and Joker. I was humiliated for that. If I don't get the help, I fear I maybe become something else. And then there was the Punisher shirt, his judge, jury, executioner. Not the moment when Tony Stark saw his whole life flash between his eyes. The wormhole, the destruction. The military was willing to bomb the entire city. What does he have to do?
A COVID rant. This COVID is hard on so many of us. There are many things that leave us feeling powerless, weak, forgotten, and alone. It is bad enough trying to avoid a deadly virus, but there are many other challenges we face. The isolation is hard on our psyches. We are wired to be connected, not to be alone. We are meant to be surrounded by our tribe, and most of us have lost our connections to the love, the affection, the physical touch, and the closeness of our tribe. By tribe, I mean our families, our friends, our co-workers, our customers, the people we usually see, even if it's only for a short time. Whether it's a handshake, a hug, a kiss on the cheeks, a few words, or a long talk, it all counts as a human exchange we experience on a typical, normal day. Now, most of it is gone. No amount of phone and even video calls can give us the warmth, comfort, and nourishment of the human touch. It eats away at our souls. And then there's the fear of tomorrow, the fear of our survival. So many of us are without the security of finances, and as time goes on, we feel more and more fearful and less secure. We humans are we humans are resilient and adapt to harsh environments, extreme situations, but the constant stress and fears drain us emotionally and physically. Wondering what we have to give up next in order to meet the basics is harder and harder every day. What are the basics anyway? Water, food, shelter, and clean clothes? We are accustomed to so much more than that. We need predictability in order to feel secure and safe. We want our comfort. We want to not only to survive, but we want to flourish and thrive. We want to reach our potentials. We want to support and protect. We want to feel valued and appreciated. We want to feel connected and feel loved. Poets and other artists want to express ourselves. We want to uplift and inspire. So, COVID, go away. Let us reach our potentials. Let us flourish and thrive.
Craving the sublime. It's the moment that takes your breath away. The trees singing harmony with angels. Visions of unity, pattern, exquisite beauty, and a conviction that love, unconditional, all-inclusive, and infinite, is truly where we do live and move and have our being. Love, our matrix, our motherboard, knowing in a flash that everything belongs. This is the sublime. This is what I crave. Yet, no matter how much I want it to happen, I cannot make it so on demand. No matter how much I need that numinous moment, I cannot make it so on demand. No matter how deeply I wish to see, to know, to feel, I cannot make it so on demand. No matter how hard I grit my teeth. But I can live expectantly, trusting in possibility. I can tune my hearing to voices under the noise. I can look between the atoms to see what dances in that emptiness. I can quiet myself to feel the invisible's presence. Yes, I can. But give me just a minute because my friend just posted the cutest video of her youngest going on her pick up the trash walks. And there's a kid at the door wanting to sell me Girl Guide cookies, the chocolate mint ones. And I'm in the middle of an email to my dear friend in the midst of despair. Oh, and I promised to finish prepping those questions for the reading group on compassion. And I haven't even started my homework for the life story circle. I forgot to pick up tofu on my way home from the doctor. And my son really wants me to proofread his essay before tomorrow morning. And I just saw an alert about yet another tweet from that president down south. I thought I'd disabled all those notifications already. Deep breath. Time to turn the kaleidoscope one notch. All this fullness, all this embeddedness in my own world. Yes, I do belong now. There is love here. Here now, where I live and move and have my being. A unified life of participation, of giving and receiving. Deep breath. I can almost hear the angels singing.
So this poem I wrote earlier this year in a poetry group I belong to. There's no name for it. Okay. Oh, you river, you were so impressive. I've learned so much from you. You are so resilient, courageous, and brave. You do so much for others, as long as you're treated right. You are always here, You worked with the other elements as you took shape. You've never stayed the same. You change with time, as one should. Your flexibility never fails to amaze me. If only I could be more like you. I love how you're meant to be free. When you're free, I know you're able to be your best. You deserve respect for all you do. I wish others would realize everything you have to offer. Just like Mother Earth, it's amazing that you and your family can be considered forces of nature, and that we humans are still trying to gain control. I wish they saw the beauty and resilience.
This is called hair strands. When you think of time, phone, or the radio, you might be thinking about happening. The pure switching between the essence and substance. Then there's 20 years ago to me, 1999. I imagine that for a moment. Everything that happened to me, everything might have happened to me. I swim in the memory contagion. Then I think about another 20, yes, and another 20 years. What is that experience? For when my cousin's best friend drowned in the lake 2 years after that, Lake Newell was a bitch slapping. It almost took me once. Don't think thrice. Then Tesla leaks into my mind when I stare at the radio, and 1901 became available. 1985, Back to the Future happened. What if Tesla was foreshadowed in there? Or what if Einstein spoke to Tesla about a beautiful world, about a beautiful melancholy? Once invented relativity, the other invented airwaves. Where did this all start? Metal on Earth. Einstein talked about an elevator. Tesla talked about receivers. The essence of a storm is to do what? Greta Thunberg is right. Pay attention to her poetry, her alliteration. Greta, 10 years older in my eyes, I would date. She's awakening the Hunger Games. Just wait 25 more years, 20 years. 60 years ago, December was brought on by vision. Here's to say the art in the arc. Peace in our time, 2017 said. Who was that line from? It began with that letter. It curves right and it curves left. When it's at its center, it's like 8 on hand, compass computer.
This is for Dwayne because it was actually inspired by Alice in Wonderland when the Red Queen said, I think of 6 impossible things before breakfast or something like that. Anyway. What impossible thing have you seen today? The smile from that woman squatting in the doorway? Minus 28 degrees? Feathers motionless, fluffed, warming life, making flight plans? A young man, my son, joyfully cooking supper. Nourished, now nourishing. Dead gray bark, surrounded by deer prints, offering crab apple leftovers under the snow. Hold on. Do not underestimate what we might offer. Do not despair of tomorrow. What impossible thing might you see tomorrow?
I haven't been writing a lot, so this is something that I started. So this will just be part 1 because it's actually, I feel like I have so many part 1s. You guys know that. Okay, it's called Otherness. I remember the first time I felt different. It was when we moved to a better neighborhood. My family stuck out like a sore thumb. We didn't belong. To be honest, I don't think we were wanted. This neighborhood is too nice for us. It's like we are a stained, misshapen puzzle piece in this beautiful puzzle. Our clothes didn't fit. Our skills didn't fit. Our lifestyle didn't fit. We didn't fit. It became even more apparent when we started school. What a culture shock for us and them. What makes us cringe at different? We were different. We had a different upbringing. We had different experiences. We were also behind. We were treated differently, as if we were less than. Some had good intentions, others not. The kids were cruel, or maybe I should say they could be cruel. The adults could be just as bad. Where else do kids learn this kind of behavior?
Okay, this is a poem I wrote a few years ago, and I had forgotten about it, but I was chatting with, well, not chatting, but emailing with Kat and talking about trees and the tree of life. And she read a tree poem, and I thought maybe I'd read my tree poem too. It's a shape poem. I don't know if you can see it in the shape of a tree. And I have called it Seasons, but I don't like that title. I'm going to call it something else when I can figure out what. I wonder if it takes courage to be a tree, to stay in one spot all of your life, exposed to sometimes fearsome sun and wind that goes from soft caress to forceful punishing blow, to feel life force flowing up and through and out the tips of your being, to give birth to leaves gladly greening, and then inexorably to lose them, to stand bare in winter's freeze with only your roots pushing slowly, slowly, slowly through deepening channels, waiting, waiting, waiting for newness once more to burst forth in the ever-circling spiral of life. Beauty, it is said, is in the eye of the beholder. And I would also say that beauty is in the eye of the innocent. Many years ago in time, but not in memory, I sat, my toddler on my knee, and watched with countless millions the televised launch of a space shuttle called Challenger. We saw the 7 astronauts, 5 men, 2 women, process in single file, all smiles, hands waving, no sign of nervousness or doubt. Among them was a teacher, the first of her profession, and the first civilian chosen to be launched into space. She, Krista McAuliffe, waved so proudly to her students back home who were, like all of us, intent on our small screens. We counted down to 0 and watched that proudest of phallic symbols thrust upward, roaring, tails of flame. Then, scarcely a breath later, 73 seconds later, explode in an inferno from hell. I sat frozen, tears of disbelief blinding my eyes, and heard my toddler's voice proclaim in wonder, "Look, Mummy, how beautiful."
I miss you, and the space between us cuts me deep. We are told we cannot choose who we love, and right now we are being told who we cannot hug. And yet I choose you each and every day, but you're not here. You feel so far away. And this distance between us is as psychological in nature as our reality has become. I would keep every single last rule they've made if it meant you wouldn't have gone away by choice or by design. Does it matter which regime has declared we cannot be together if in the end the outcome is the same? If in the end the fear has won?
So this poem is not happy at all. And this poem is dedicated to my community back east in Red Bank, New Brunswick, and specifically to Rodney Levi, who lost his life, and his family as well, to his family. Okay, I'll start. I'm flooded with emotions, rippling with anger and grief. I want to scream. I didn't even know suicide by cop was a thing. How is this happening? He wanted and needed help. He was struggling. It was supposed to be a wellness check, but now he's dead.
This is first draft. I wrote this today as I was seeing the snow falling. And it was really unusual for me. And one thought led to another. And I don't think it's done yet. I think it needs some polishing, but here goes. Snow falling straight down. No wind, no swirling. Drop, 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 straight down. No wavering. I wish life were like that. Yet the fact that the snow seems unreal underlines how unlike daily life is in the snow's unambiguous, unswerving purpose. Get to the ground and bring moisture to the land. So much needs to be done, from my book to the dishes, to helping my friends through COVID, to dismantling systemic racism, to unraveling how patriarchy infects every institution I know of, even, of course, the feminist ones. It all tires me. I'm tempted to follow the snow and creep under the white blanket in the yard. Maybe nobody will see me going to hide. Yet, remember, we don't have to do it all ourselves alone. Even the dishes can be done with my dear son, and racism is only going to be mitigated with the help of many, many. So what is mine to do? What is mine to do today? No need to join a campaign or start a nonprofit or lobby government, at least not today. No, today's task is both today's task is both more simple and much more harder. Don't do, but be justice and compassion. Be an ongoing presence of how I want the world to be. Witness what is possible, that I too am part of the process of life coming down to earth, either straight or swirling, bringing moisture to the dryness of the ground around me, bringing life, bringing blessing, each day in every way I exercise choice and freedom. What's mine to do? Just that. Just that!
I was broken, beat down and bruised, left hopeless and alone. I thought I would find healing in other people, that they could help me find my purpose. So I searched their souls, opened myself up to them, but instead of finding my purpose, I only helped them serve theirs. Gave them the prey they had been waiting to feed on. And I returned back to that state of hurting alone. I thought I had been cursed, to live in my cluttered mind, doomed to endlessly wander through my thoughts, dwell in my pain. If only I had realized sooner what a blessing it really was, to look inward and explore every nook and crevice of my soul. I navigated through the pain. I had fallen so many times, wound up in chasms with little hope of escape. I almost let the darkness overtake me. Almost. But in the darkness, I came to a realization. I was looking for purpose in others when I need only have turned inward. I was the answer I had been searching for. I rose from the darkness and emerged a warrior. The suffering I had endured built the foundations of my soul that I could walk upon. And so I ventured out of my mind, a warrior with a purpose. I would spread my message of self-acceptance and self-fulfillment to all those who had ever doubted themselves. We would rise together.
I walk around and play my siren, looking up to those before me. I scream and sing the truths they told me, just to myself, don't listen in. Tyler Joseph once explained, these negations I cry out every day in my repeating rounds. This one's a contradictor because of how happy it sounds, but the lyrics are so down, or so he ordained. You may not think this phrase applies here, and will hope that's for the best. If you comprehend my new direction, I'm sure you know the rest. Most people are senseless, they can't feel our fear. So I'll play my sirens, and you'll sing along, pretend like you know the heart and soul of this song. I hate these damn sirens and all that I say, but I've got no choice to play them any dismal day. However long that may be, without me telling, I wish you would see. We laugh and play, act it all a joke, though I believe I'm really okay. I think I'm okay, just like MGK. I like to dangle you along an uncertain rope. For the moment now I'm walking on air, ignoring the thoughts of how. Sit here trying to forget my problems. Maybe that's my issue. Maybe I don't want to solve them. Soon will return reality's looming maleficence. I'll remember why I'm here, doing my best to suppress all my fear. But I think I caught a glimpse of his essence. When he used to talk, I thought I didn't care. Told myself I'd rather not hear. I feel a twisted home in my fear. To let him pull me out, I couldn't dare. So I'll play my sirens and you'll walk away. You won't see the burnt lights take place again today. I'm done with these sirens and all that I've said. I've been given the choice to take on my own head. It's taken a long time for me, but I think now I see.
My daily newspaper is a little different from yours. Mine has stories that usually happen behind closed doors. Mine also has images of those who are too afraid to admit they're insecure. Obviously, they're images of men. And before you yell at me and tell me they aren't all the same, let me just tell you that I read the same stories over and over again. To be clear, I'm talking about those who refuse to repent. Okay, hold on. Let me back up and explain. My newspaper is my social media. The stories I keep seeing are of girls who are afraid, girls who are constantly ashamed, girls who can't escape, girls who eventually end up dead. So now that we're on the same page, or we should be at least, let's try to visualize what it's like to be locked up in a cage. As a human, of course. Well, without using any metaphors, it's simple. It is literally being born as a girl. I am told how to talk, how to dress, and even how to giggle. But on the other hand, boys will be boys and they get to do what they want. They get to use their powerful voice. They get to have a choice. They even get to experience all of life's joys. And the minute girls ask for equality, they're silenced, restricted, and killed because they're just baby making dishwashers, right? Because no matter how much they fight, no matter how much I or others sing and write, no matter how many times I say there's no gray area, it's either black or white, I'll always be blindfolded. I'll never see the light. Guided into the unknown with so much trust in my heart, supposedly, that one day Prince Charming will save me and give me a softer, lighter blindfold. That one day this will all be worth it because I remained a good girl through it all.
Please wait here. Milk cartons are 25 cents. A cookie hundy. A mother looking at me. She's short and attractive. Both of her children awesome. She's thinking maybe. The mom sometimes looks at me and I'm standing there like a man on guard for thee. Truthfully, it's my autism scanning around me. Maybe it's terminated behavior. She takes her kids to study the recycling diagram for moments. I see. I'm at the table this time, my second time. I'm committed to bottles. Friends like friends show, no, it's more than that. Lastly, when I finish collecting, and yes, sir, I see a massive spider on the table and I'm triggered. Not because I'm engaged in negativity. I need to make him aware. Sir, Siri. He looks at me. Large spider there. He looks. I don't quite know what he said. I apologize because I knowingly brought it in. It's surviving and it's not. It was in blue bags. This spidey could have fell on me walking it there. Wolf spider recall. It wasn't brown, it wasn't black, it was grayish. I was scared. The boy I was at 4 crawling through underneath trailer deck. Forests of silk spider webs. My palms were deep straight ahead on the corner. Did I have the courage? I wanted my palms. 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 I wanted my palms I was online. The little girl looked up at me with her blue eyes and blown eyelashes. I'm always mistaken for who I am. I just stand on guard for thee. This money, I went past an address I looked at that was a funeral home. I waved at Red Explorer Inn. It is snowing today. Bank in line. He asked if I was okay. I said Frosty the snowman may be here. No snow please, could warm up. This isn't the Antarctic yet. I said we need snow to breathe. This utterly beautiful woman, I saw who she was managing people. Her stilettos, blouse, and skirt. I noticed her. I didn't stare at her. I recommend myself to borrow courage sometime, like my friend told me at a weed house rock. She's rich and she's green. I was called ahead. This woman, India, she lives in my building. She looked at me. You're the man that lives in my building. I replied, I'm the creativity man that talks to anyone there. I remembered the child up and down the hallway who grew. I asked, you're that small girl's mother. She giggled, yes. I said, like the people in my building, I don't like management. Who does really? They're managing capital. That's all they care about. Clinical maintenance falling apart like seasonal leaves. I talk and I get in trouble. That's my motto. She laughed. I remembered why I'm trying to be myself, even when the takedowns are harder. I looked at the bill and said, they need a new face instead of John A. McDonald. She suggested I do a survey. She said, you're talkative puppet. The glee I rate for 1 second. I smiled, pretending to laugh like a comedian. Who am I? What's she saying? She's enjoying this. I was like, I say stuff, but nobody has time to listen. She laughs. After the receipt, I return to the door where Page Master hollows the entire reason why society is there. I remember the geese. I looked up to the sky. Fly away winter. Oppo's home. The jet determination of these birds. I thought about the spider again. People in their vehicles are annoyed at you because you're walking and using every curb like Tetris. The 28th. It's a day for my raised mama, my brother, and my Hungarian papa. Tomorrow I confront something even bigger. I cried last night to my friend again. The carriage in my heart. The memories in my pain. PSI. P.S. I love you. I told my dog I love him. I was singing the Colonel Blues. I believed in popcorn for good sakes. Can I try it? I'm laughed at. The kernels are all sugar brown. Ray Charles looking through the window waving. That's the poem.
What would it be if I didn't read a sad love poem? Okay, I was trying to pick a few I've been writing. I actually wrote a bunch. I put them together as a chat book and submitted them just because that was a challenge I had given myself, that I needed to actually submit something somewhere. So anyway, this is one of the ones that I wrote from the collection, and it's a little bit of a story. I hope that carries through because it was very clear in my head. So I hope the story carries through a little bit what was going on to the rest of you. Okay. It's called Dark Blue. I bought this nail polish today because I was thinking of you, and I tried to get the color just right. It shimmers in the sun, revealing that the night isn't all as dark as it seems. I tested it out, of course, and it's less shitty than the other 3 I tried. Thin, gentle layers. 2 should be enough, with enough patience in between and then after. I have never been particularly patient, so my mother likes to remind me, yet I have fought so hard to be patient for you. It seems patience is a towering ocean wave, and I've been struggling to not drown in its turmoil. If only I would remember to breathe at the top of each wave, maybe I would have a chance to survive the depths. Maybe if I would see the moon's rays, it would remind me that the water is not really black. It's only dark blue. And if I can just keep swimming, eventually it will throw me back to you.
So this poem is an older poem that I thought I'd start with. It's called Charlotte Gainsbourg, an ode and a meditation. Gentle and soft, gentle and small, Charlotte sits with a mountain inside her, a great bear inside her. How did she fit it all, rocky peaks, teeth and claws inside her tiny frame, and still have room for a vast and moving ocean? Calm and clear, calm and still. Though the skies are black, the ocean lies over many a sunken ship, calm and still. Though the universe rises in her throat, Charlotte sits, gentle, soft and small, sucking on stars from a fathomless sky.
While I played with my pets to raise my mood, others were struggling to find cash for food. When I seeded my garden in the warm sun, others slaved all day, their work never done. Fearing the virus, I sheltered at home, while frontline workers such choice had none. When needing more food, I went to the store, assured each day there would be more. With no thought of truck drivers' lives on the road, nor the farmers who seed and harvest our food, nor of meat plant workers in conditions so bad that half of them the virus COVID had. Buying Amazon gifts sent sales to new heights. Unwittingly, we harmed these workers' rights, undermining small businesses' goals and forcing bankruptcy for those who toil. Like Tesla, their bosses, billionaire types, did blithely divest the poor of their rights, while Joe Bezos made sales in the trillions. Starvation stalked the lives of millions. This isolation has made clear to all our system is broken. It's ripe to fall. Unless we tune into our empathy and admit we are all part of humanity.
They had a pleasant morning, cuddling in bed for a while and talking about poetry. When they were dressing, she was standing in front of the dresser, reaching in the drawer for her underwear. He looked at her with admiration and in a playful, innocent moment, caressed her leg and complimented her. He was behind her and she didn't see him. She was caught by surprise. She had a sudden jerk in her body, and a strong reaction of panic welled up inside. As she grasped her chest and struggled for air, she realized the source of her panic. She remembered many unwanted touches when she was young and had no voice. She realized years of silenced rages pushed down, hurting her, eating away at her very core, were now struggling from her body. I have to start with this. She realized years of silenced rages pushed down, hurting her, eating away at her very core, were now surging from her body like the lava of a volcano. She remembered the time she found her voice when she was an adult and screamed at the man who touched her uninvited that if he does it again, she will hit him so hard that he will not stop for miles. When she said that, she couldn't believe it was her voice. That was the day she became untouchable. Untouchable except to the one she loved. Later, she was able to say no quietly, yet with the same power. All those thoughts flashed through her mind like a fast-moving movie. In the meanwhile, she kept her hand over her chest, over her heart, and cried. Then they talked, and he apologized. She explained the reactions and flashbacks, and he understood her a little more than before.
I started writing poems and song lyrics, I want to say 2 years ago. This one is a little sing-songy, so it might not be the most popular. But I wrote it just today. It's unedited. It's pretty fresh. So I'd love to hear, some criticism, what you think. The context of it, recently what I've started doing is I have my friends give me ideas of things they'd like to see me try to write about. Trying to kind of expand my ability to go outside of my own mind with my writing. So this one, a friend of mine, she texted me and she said she wanted to see something that she could relate to on the sense of struggling with the weight to meet expectations, whether they're real or imaginary, and how that weight can lead us to struggles like anxiety attacks and things that can be physical pain when it feels like it should all be mental. So it's a pretty short one. This one is called Natural Disaster. It's your fault. Why are you dreaming? Change your mind. You aren't really feeling. That's not true. Just start believing. An earthquake is starting. The characters warring. Flash bombs are thrown. Sudden halt in airflow. Close your eyes with me. I know it's hard to breathe. Just take your time and see. I'm never gonna leave. You're holding all you need. You're enough to the one we seek. It's okay if you have to bleed. One day you will be free. Stop the story. Why are you crying? You're so dramatic. No one is dying. Just be perfect. You're not even trying. A hurricane is hitting. War just seems fitting. Blinded by the chlorine, breathing in the phosgene. Close your eyes with me. I know it's hard to breathe. Just take your time and see. I'm never gonna leave. He gave you all you need. Just hold on to your creed. Everybody bleeds. It's why we can be free. Take your time, dear friend. This is not the end. Close your eyes and breathe. I just need you to breathe. You can always breathe. Just breathe. Breathe. Close your eyes with me. I know it's hard to breathe. Just take your time and see. I'm never gonna leave. He gave you all you need. Just hold on to your creed. Everybody bleeds. It's why we can be free.
Pain is being forced to live, constantly being torn between your desire to die and your duty to your creator to live. Pain is staying up all night praying for death so you can be free of this life without displeasing your maker. Having enough faith that you won't end your own life, but not enough faith to give you purpose. Pain is screaming loudly but having no sound come out. Standing in prayer and having your legs fail you because there is not enough drive in you to remain upright. To walk hunched over because your spine will no longer listen to your brain. Or perhaps your brain can't seem to send the messages to your spine anymore. Pain is remembering to breathe after your body screams out to you for oxygen, and you never realized you were holding your breath. digging your nails across your skin, never enough to draw blood, but enough to justify why you were hurting. Why you have this unbearable pain when everything seems perfect from the outside. Pain is hurting when you know you have no good reason to hurt, wondering if you're descending into insanity, if perhaps you were born broken, or if the break happened somewhere along the way. Pain is everything inside of you trying to rip itself out of you, but there being nothing you can do about it. Pain is living this life you never asked to live and wondering why you cannot seem to find the joy that others promise.
As all the other Arabs, we had many restrictions on us, but all we could think about was love that was driven by lust. We had a lust for happiness, freedom, and trust. We fell for each other so quick, like time didn't exist, like it was just us. In the midst of all this chaos, we thought about what would and wouldn't be a loss, in terms of friends, family, and everything in between. We treated us like it was a must, like we had to fight everyone and everything that was unjust, all for the sake of love. Imagine this level of confidence in a love that is so dubious. They tell us the only kind of accepted love is a love that is clean. But what the hell does that even mean if I can't touch you, know you, or feel you? How could I possibly trust that our love is true? They raise us to have trust issues, but then ask us to believe words that they themselves refuse. I love you. 3 words that can get you in so much trouble because God forbid you actually are someone you truly want. But instead, you gotta live inside your small little bubble and pretend you're happy with this stranger and put up a front. Buried alive like I don't deserve a life, where in a world where I have to be disguised, constantly living a lie. And for what? To please the misogyny that is killing me. I'm promised everything except being free, and I'm supposed to accept that and just be as they want me to be. All of this mess because I'm a she and not a he. It would have been a different kind of story if I wasn't me, but all of this is out of love. All of it comes from good intentions. I'm just someone they want to be proud of. I can't be too great though, only within my limits, like I'm in a lifetime detention where expressing your opinion isn't an option. Yes, ma'am, and yes, sir. Those are my only answers.
Okay, so this poem is called Splendid. I thought it was only give you 2, and I sorry for that. Sometimes that happens, time awareness in my head, even when people say things. So I'll start here. Okay, so this poem is called Splendid. When you see someone's vulnerability, you see yourself among 1,000 selves. It's not going to be a right outcome. It's going to be experience. If you can't appreciate someone's genius, don't walk into their madness. That's how they got there. You see how many accidents happen on the road. This is everyone's reality driving, isn't it? It's dangerous, and yet it's happening. The floorboards shake beneath you. Confrontation screams at you. The ripples of memories of screams, someone else's life in the shades of bad making storms come down on you. Does it have language? One language amongst it all. Every cemetery I've seen, too, has been English. I don't go that much. I remember all the happenings of it before. My brother, my parents. If Rembrandt could paint that, this tree and the shelter between that open land of stones where you can't confuse a red balloon for the curb where metal melts, freezes, and can't breathe. I wasn't Tarzan. I wasn't Oliver Twist. You could confuse me easily choosing a character out of Stand By Me. I saw them, their theaters happening in front of me. Dead, dead, dead. Good news. We should have enough vaccine by the end of the year to immune 20,000 Americans. The government better be careful about their technology here. Some sports players play different sports like Bo Jackson. James Johnson doing MMA and kickboxing and undefeated in those bouts, his black belt and his career in the NBA.
Little soul, that's what it's called. Little soul, you do you. You explore any way you need. Take it in, breathe it in deeply. Take the chances you need and crave. We were not meant to be limited by these stories, meant to keep us in check. We were meant for greatness in small and big ways. Take your time, don't rush. Enjoy it, this new exciting experience. Little soul, you do you. Follow your dreams, find ways to make it happen. Little soul, you do you. But never forget to enjoy the small things, the scents, the sounds, the feelings, the way it could taste, and the way it looks. Little soul, you can do anything.